Up for Tim Moen, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, well thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Mark, for inviting me to this. It shows your commitment to free speech that you'll let me speak here today. So I really appreciate that. And is it just me or is it really hot here? You know, my day job is I'm a firefighter, and I kind of feel like I'm in my turnout gear in a burning building right now. I got to keep fighting this fire. And normally I fight the mindlessly destructive force called fire and chaos, my day job. But today I'm here to fight this mindlessly destructive force, government. And so I welcome, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Now, I was a little worried that the term libertarian might turn some of you off. We always get confused with the liberals, and the way I describe it to people is liberty is the root word in the name libertarian, and lie is the root word in the name liberal. We're the exact opposite, okay? So don't get the two twisted, don't get us confused. And I'm here in part because Mark invited me, but I'm also here because a sleeping giant is waking up right now, am I right? Yeah. That warms the cockles of my heart. You guys might know me as the guy in 2015 when I ran for Prime Minister who popularized the phrase, "I want gay married couples to protect their marijuana plants with guns." I'm upgrading that to AR-15s now, by the way. And by the way, Dan Dix, I give all the gratitude to him. He was the first, there he is, he was the first guy to interview me. Mainstream media wouldn't touch me. Dan Dix, Press for Truth, has been on the front lines forever, and I'm very grateful to him for that and for giving me that opportunity. That led to the Rebel News picking me up, and that led to other things. And the mainstream media have been picking me up and spreading fake news about me, which I also appreciate. So that's why I'm here. I'm here because you guys have been deemed non-essential. You've had your livelihoods destroyed. You can't pay your bills or keep your lights on. And that's true of many Canadians right now. The government's taken away your ability to put nutritious food on your family's table. They made it nearly impossible to save up for your old age. They basically prohibited you from accessing all the things that lead to a long, healthy, happy life. So how's that for public health? Sucks, doesn't it? Now while this is all going on, the central banks are robbing your buying power by printing up limitless money to bail out banks and giant politically connected corporations. These are the same corporations that are getting all your customers now that your small and medium-sized business has been obliterated. These are the same banks that are getting the deed to your house and land when you can't pay the mortgage because your ability to make a living has been obliterated. What we are witnessing right now, ladies and gentlemen, here today is an unprecedented wealth transfer from you, the working classes, to the elites, to the oligarchs, to the SNC Lavalins of the world, to all those who are connected to political power. At the same time, we're seeing an unprecedented wealth transfer from us to them. We're seeing an unprecedented power transfer from the people to the government. Now, and if you think they're just going to hand us back our freedoms, you've got another thing coming. And the income tax was implemented as a temporary tax to pay for World War I. We all now accept it as part of the new normal, right? Who's talking about ending the income tax other than us crazy libertarians? As Thomas Sowell once said, there's nothing more permanent than a temporary government program. And the irony here, folks, is that this is all done to protect your life and save your life. Do you guys feel protected? Yeah, I didn't think so. Oh, by the way, they're sending you the bill for all this. That's right, they've broken your legs, and now they're giving you these feeble crutches in the form of CERB checks. And they're expecting a big thank you in return. Who do you think's going to pay for this? Every working class Canadian. That's who. Everyone here who pays taxes. And not just the people that pay taxes. That's the immediate, obvious thing. Every Canadian is going to pay this through the invisible tax called inflation. 2 years from now, when you're paying twice as much for groceries, but you're making the same income, that's going to be you paying for what's happening right now. They're robbing our buying power. That is as much a robbing of your wealth as a tax is. So, ladies and gentlemen, consider yourself indentured servants. Your children and your grandchildren will not be inheriting your wealth. That's going to the elites. Instead, your children and grandchildren will be inheriting perpetual servitude to your masters. Now, I haven't heard a single peep about this from the official opposition. Has anyone opposed from the CPC opposed this lockdown at all? No. Now, the truth is, actually, we've been indentured servants for a long time. Canada, at all levels of government, is currently on the hook for $4.1 trillion in unfunded liabilities. That's $250,000 that you got to pay for each taxpayer. I don't remember consenting to this. That number's going up, by the way, likely to closer to $5 trillion thanks to this lockdown.
Every day. Every day.
I don't ever remember consenting to this. I mean, I can't rack up a bunch of debt and then make you guys pay for it. In fact, if any one of us behaved like the government's behaving, we'd rightfully be locked in jail right now. If you try central banking, you'll be locked away for counterfeiting money. If you try taxing someone, you'll get locked away for armed robbery, and rightfully so. If you issue a fine to someone for their speech, you'll also be charged with armed robbery. If you try to ban guns, you'll be charged with uttering threats and be locked away. If in the process of confiscating guns, you have to shoot a resistant gun owner, you'll be charged with murder. We would rightfully be charged with criminals, yet the government can do this and get away with it and never be charged. In fact, a lot of people actually thank them for engaging in this criminality and applaud it. Now, as a libertarian, I believe the proper role of government is to protect the individual from trespass, theft, assault, rape, and murder, from aggression. In theory, we delegate this right to the government, yet whenever we defend ourselves from criminals, we're charged by our very own government. Ian Thomas, Frank Meseros, Edward Maurice in Alberta. These are just 3 individuals in a long list of people whose lives have been ruined by persecution from our legal system for the crime of defending their property with a gun.
Thank you.
And now we have Trudeau and his posse arbitrarily banning guns that look a certain way and make them feel icky.
Which means all guns.
He's doing this from his castle while he has Parliament here shut down. Boy, oh boy, he wasn't kidding when he said he admired China's basic dictatorship, did he?
That's what I said, buddy. Hey, I tell everybody that every day. Okay?
Ladies and gentlemen, I propose to you that the battle lines are not left versus right. Both the right and the left have betrayed us and stripped us of our liberties, our sovereignty, our wealth. I would even put to you that the battle isn't really between globalism and nationalism. There are some nationalists who want to put a jackboot on our neck just like the globalists do. I don't think none of the nationalists here do, but there are some out there. The real political battle I would put to you, ladies and gentlemen, is between authoritarians and libertarians. The authoritarians want the government to impose their agenda on you. The libertarians just want to be left the hell alone. Now, there are enemies of liberty on both the right and the left, and there are also good people as well. Are they libertarian or are they authoritarian? That's how you know the line between good and bad. All right? And that, my friends, is where the real battle is. That's why you're all here today. You're not here for a government handout. You're not here to demand the government do something. You're here to demand that the government leave us the hell alone. All right. So, I want to leave you with this. How do we do that? How do we get the government to leave us alone? First, we have to identify the problem. Now, this might not be a popular thing to say, but I would argue that the root of the problem is not Justin Trudeau. Now, in reality, he's just a perpetual frat boy living his best life. I can't even be mad at the kid. Congrats on all your success. I mean, he didn't seize power in a military coup, did he? Here's the uncomfortable fact, ladies and gentlemen. He was chosen by our countrymen to run this country. Let me repeat that so you didn't miss it. He was chosen by your countrymen, your neighbors, to run this country. Now, if that doesn't send a chill down your spine, I don't know what will. The truth is, and it's sad to say that because this crowd is the exception, but most of your countrymen don't want liberty. They want the government. They want a government that benefits them at your expense. They're authoritarians. And so Andrew Breitbart was right. Government is downstream from culture. Unfortunately, until we have a culture that embraces liberty, we will not see the kind of Canada that you and I want to see.
You got it, buddy. You got it.
Now, I wish the task ahead of us was as easy as voting for me or Maxime Bernier or another party. Don't get me wrong, I want your vote. But voting isn't going to change culture. The only thing that will change culture is you, creating more libertarians. And it's a grind. It might be a multi-generational grind, as Dan Dix pointed out. It might be a long grind. It's work. There's no easy answer. You can't get away, ladies and gentlemen, with just going to the voting booth and thinking that your job is done and that you've done something productive. If you want to be part of changing culture, you have to be able to persuade authoritarians, your neighbors, to become libertarians, to be people that embrace liberty rather than authoritarianism, that when they feel afraid, they don't go begging the government to save them from their own fear and anxiety. The most effective way to do this, in my mind, and I appreciated that some of the other speakers touched on the same thing, is to hate the sin but love the sinner. We cannot hate our fellow Canadians just because they're possessed by a bad ideology, all right? And so we can't call people names like libtard and snowflake and expect to make any progress. In fact, that's a strategy for losing and sabotaging your own cause, in my opinion. What we need to do is study. We need to get good at rational debate. We need to debate ideas. We need to learn to connect with people's concern and show them how liberty addresses that concern. You're worried about climate catastrophe? Here's how we can solve that without communism and without carbon taxes. Are you worried about a migrant crisis? Here's how we can solve that problem with less government rather than more government. Are you worried about gun violence or drug abuse? Here's how liberty helps that problem. That's what we have to do. We have to create more liberties by connecting with people. Now, if this isn't in your wheelhouse, you can support those of us that are. Myself, all the speakers here today, plenty of people out there in the audience. More and more people are waking up to the corruption we're seeing in the system, and there's never been a better time to connect people to the message of liberty. This crowd is an example of that. And guys, as Canadians, we are a diverse group of people across this nation, and we're all unified under one nation. That unity is under threat right now. The bigger government grows, the more divided we become. E pluribus unum, out of many, one. We can all live together in peace, prosperity, and collaboration, but we can only do this on a foundation of liberty. Mr. Trudeau, tear down that wall. Thank you.